About 14% of the U.S. population of 305 million is black. Largely descended from slaves, this population today struggles with lower levels of success in critical aspects of life: economic status, scholastic achievement, and staying out of jail. Some residents of this public housing neighborhood in Chicago say it's racism.
White people, they are so disrespectful sometimes. I remember when they used the N word, niggers. I do not like that word. Racism is not the key. It's not the answer.
Equality is still a little imbalance in equality as far as whether it's jobs or just a lot of things you try to do career-wise or whatever. It's always something that can be a problem when it comes to you trying to succeed. Right now I'm unemployed, but yeah, I'm doing unemployment right now, but I'm still searching. There's something out there for me.
This sociology major at a private Catholic university now lives in the housing development, but she sensed racism in a previous search for an apartment.
Where I wanted to be in a majority white neighborhood because they have a better school system for my daughter, so I wanted to be in the school system. But I was placed somewhere by these apartment finder people where they thought I would blend in better as an African American.
The Jane Addams Hull House Association has as its mission to improve social conditions for underserved people. President Clarence Wood is also former head of the city's Commission on Human Relations.
The door is education. If educational systems aren't working, we aren't going to get through that door to get to jobs. We also have to understand that it was racism, segregation, that has created this real gap that means that so many of our corporations are still headed by whites. So many of the parents of many of the young people are incarcerated. And the incarceration numbers for African Americans and Latinos very high.
The U.S. Department of Justice reports that more than 35% of those in prison are black males, followed by white males and Hispanic males. It's fairly unequivocal that African Americans sense that racism plays a role in the differences between blacks and whites. But Latino Americans also detect that ethnic differences affect their chances for success in their communities. Pilsen is Chicago's largest Mexican-American neighborhood, host to Latinos who entered the country either legally or illegally, and recent immigrants who don't speak English. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that 15% of the nation's population is Hispanic. The presence of Latin Americans can create tensions.
You know, people, they don't like the Hispanics coming in, taking their jobs supposedly, and it's not like that. You know, everybody earns theirs, you know. Hispanic doesn't get nothing free around here. You know, we got to work extra, you know.
My grandparents from Mexico.
Usually when people think that you don't speak English, that they right away they talk to each other about, oh, look at the way she speaks. Maybe she won't understand because she doesn't speak English.
They say Latinas are stupid.
I think it's unfair because for some reason they think that since we're Hispanic, they got an idea that we're automatically illegal.
Have you ever experienced anyone treating you differently because they think you're of a different ethnicity?
Actually, yes, I have. Once I went to the store and this lady was just following us like if we were going to steal something.
The City of Chicago Commission on Human Relations has advisory councils to address such disparities in treatment. Refugio Gonzalez is the director of the Advisory Council on Latino Affairs, and he addresses problems in the school system.
In the Latino community, we have really been overcrowded in these schools. And as you know, there is a huge dropout rate in cities, throughout the nation of Latinos.
SAT scores determining students' readiness for college show disparities in performance, with whites scoring lower than Asian Americans but higher than Hispanics and blacks.
I think what we have to look at is a long history of racism in education in this nation. Inner city education institutions not being as equipped. Most of us want to believe that the election of an African American president was the end of racism. I think what we have to understand is that was not the end of racism. It was the beginning of an opportunity for us to end racism.
I think American people and Mexican people, any nationality, I think they are beautiful, they are good people, but we gotta stick together to do things together.
But one look at this University of Maryland graph of Census Bureau statistics on household income says that could be a continued challenge. The biggest gap is between whites and Hispanics, with blacks trailing behind. In Chicago, Roxanne Assaf for Press TV.